Plastic Model Builders, welcome back. Go check out our box break if you didn't see it. Right now, we are putting our parts in some warm water because we're going to wash them. Because why? I always wash my parts. They glue. I feel like they glue a little better, you know, easier for paint right away. That way your oily hands aren't touching stuff. Mine do anyway. It's a bad habit. Anyway, so I got a big sink, got a lot of parts, trying to fit all these in here. I managed to do it. I got a plastic bag because the sprues are really loose and some of them all fell off, so you had to put some of these small parts in the bag. Hopefully we don't lose any. I did lose some parts. I wasn't too worried about it because you can't really see them. I'm not going to lose sleep over a light missing here and there. So anyway, that's the story. So as usual, of course, wash off all your parts, get all the soap off of it, and when we let them dry, we're going to let them air dry because that's the best way to do it. You don't want to get any blotches anywhere. Don't worry if they're water spots. I've never found too much of an issue with it because you're going to get rid of that anyway when you clean your model off. So we're going to start assembling the front wheel well. A little bit tedious here. So we've got this main flat piece right here. We're going to put some parts onto here. As you saw me, I just cut them off the sprue. Make sure they fit into these little slots fairly well. Make it look pretty. Model making madness. You know how that goes. So we got a little piece that's going to stick that right here. I can't remember what that's for, but you got to put it in there. So there we go. We've got that. We're going to cut out some more pieces. This piece here, you probably should stick it in ahead of time when we cut out these things here. There's some slots for them. You can see there. Do it how you want. This is how I did it, so learn from it. Maybe it might be easier. At least glue on one section. It's got some slots, so the one upright piece will fit into the other upright pieces that I'm putting on. Be careful of that little thing there. You don't want to break it off. Those are for the doors. Go all around the edge on the other one. Now would be a good time to put in that piece that I was talking about. I'll show you here once we cut it out because I have to kind of pull some stuff apart a little bit and then put it back together. There's that one little slot that the other side goes into. It looks good. It's a nice, things fit together really well. You see me putting the glue on that and then that little circle. So here we go, putting this piece in. You got to kind of pull this back apart, stick it in, and then make sure everything stays firm. Here we got a little header piece, whatever you want to call it, bulkhead. I don't know, not really bulkhead, but there it is. Goes in the back here. Just get your glue all the way around and just place this in. It will kind of complete that assembly for the time being. A lot of work to do on this model, so is what it is, right? So here we go. This is kind of like a bulkhead as well. We're going to put more stuff on there. That's kind of the end of that. Now we've got some seats, cockpit seats. There's like 4 of these things. So you're just doing double, triple the work, quadruple the work on a lot of these models because some planes only have 1 seat, some have 2. This one's got 4. So cut them all out. Good thing is I'm not going to show you assembling all 4. I'm just showing you how many pieces there are by cutting them all out. So we see all of them right here. But anyway, I'm going to get these seats glued up. Just see how I go along the edge here with the glue. Take that, that's the side of the seat, put the main chair on, flip it over, of course, and then do the other side. This is how I thought it would be easier. Make sure you know where your glue is going, all that good stuff. Put that together, let all this stuff dry. So a lot of the stuff we're going to do in this video is mainly because we're letting other parts dry, and it just makes sense to do that. This is the front fuselage right here. It's going to house the main part of the cockpit, the flight deck, some other stuff. Just kind of snap it off. You don't have to worry about that because none of that gets seen in the airplane. It's all hidden. So here's the flight deck. I did lose a piece, which is the main instrument panel, but it's hard to see because it's in the front. I had it at one point and then it just vanished. These are some control sticks. Of course, those go in the plane as well. Here are some bulkheads. I guess you could call them bulkheads. I don't know. But like 3 or 4 of these things. So here we're going to glue some of these down, put some of these small little pieces in place, pay attention to them, how they go. I did everything all at once, then came back and painted everything later. To me, I was just trying some new things, seeing what works out best. So I really liked how I did it. And you do have to remember with this plane, unless you do like some sort of open up cockpit thing like that, it's really hard to see inside of this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we're putting in a bulkhead right here. See, there we go. Kind of ran out of words, even though I'm like talking, but you know how that goes. So put in some more parts. See that little square piece? It's kind of like a register, you could say. It just lines everything up. Here's more little tabs. You got little tabs all over the place. That way you can know where to put these parts. The model went together very well due to the way they designed it, so I'm pretty happy with it. It had some issues, of course, but what don't you have? It wouldn't be model making without it. So another little bulkhead. Put that on in the back. Make sure they all go in the spots they're supposed to. Sometimes I would advise at least putting this into like the main fuselage just to see where everything lines up. You see how I had to bend that into shape, that previous part? That way I could see how it goes. So this is a window. I put a little bit of glue on that side, popped it into place because you do feel it snap. This is just to kind of seal around it. Kind of worked, kind of didn't. You know how that goes, clear glue. These windows, they're a little hard to install because they're round, but as you can see, they've also got tabs on them. Those tabs are important because they help hold the window in place. You know, they say you shouldn't use plastic cement because it frosts stuff. I am of the opinion that it only frosts stuff when the vapors have nowhere to go. As you can see, that's why I do things certain ways sometimes, is I feel like it's all a matter of where the vapors have and they can release. So that's why I put plastic cement on with windshields a lot. I haven't had any trouble. It doesn't mean it's the best practice, but that's how I do it. So here we go, using a toothpick just to press that down. Get some more glue in there. We'll seal that in nicely. And there you have it. Cutting out the ladder pieces right here. I'm just going to cut them out. A lot of pieces I just kind of saved up so I could paint them white later. This is also a moving ladder, which is kind of cool. We're going to assemble the front landing gear, which also has a rotating wheel pivot. I'm not exactly sure what you'd want to call that. So you kind of have to put that in first. I built my sections, then had to crack them back open and put stuff in. Luckily I noticed it because, you know, sometimes you're putting a plane together and you're not exactly sure how it's supposed to work because directions aren't always clear. But so here we go. This is like a small piece. I don't know what you want to call it, but it will go right onto this landing gear. So you see we're putting the hinges together. Going to put this together. I set that one piece aside so it could dry. So this would have been a good time to insert the that one piece, the hinge, with the spinny deal. Even though it doesn't spin yet, we're going to make it spin. And there we go. I'm putting it in. You see how I have that gap? Press it together. You see how that turns there? Neat feature of the model, turning landing gear. Then I took it out. Why? Because I wanted to make sure that was glued down fully right there. Just keep spinning it. Make sure that glue doesn't dry on there. There's that piece we put together earlier. Goes right there. Looks perfect. All right, so we have wheels. You see a total of 8 big wheels here and 2 small. Well, one of those is just one small wheel for one side of the front end. Each of these is just basically one side of the landing gear because there are a total of 8 wheels in total. These are just 8 halves of wheels. So a lot of wheel work to do. Everything in this model is just double and triple the work. So it takes a lot of time because it's so big and massive. So here I'm going to just show you putting together. This is one of the smaller wheels, the front landing gear. It's got those little pins put into the box. There we go, pressed together. And this is the bigger wheel, as you can see, because it's bigger than the other one. So same thing, pins, press them together. Make sure it meets up nicely, you know, test fit all your parts, of course. Voila, look at that, looks great. So now these are like the missile, they're not really rails, they're just rotaries, I guess you could call them, because these things spin on the rotary with the missiles. There are 12 of these, 6 per rotary. Gets to be a bit of a pain. So it is what it is, and that's what we have to do. So make it look good. I'm just showing me cutting out all of these parts because there are a lot of them. But good news is we're coming towards the end of this video in about 2 minutes. So lots of missiles. When you put these missiles together, test fit each one of them. Make sure they all fit, because some of them, the fits were a little bit different and you have to find some that match with each other. I know that's weird, but that's how it was. See, look, more of them just on another sprue. These are the back ends of these. They get painted all white. You can paint them whatever color you want. I really don't care. So, like I said, plenty of them. I'm not going to show you all those. These are the rotaries that go on the missiles, or not the missiles, that on the rotary pieces that we will assemble. And we do those that way you can slap them all together. So here's a missile. I'm going to show you one of these, how I do it. Just put the glue all the way around here. Then we will let each of these dry. That way we make sure they are lined up properly and you can maneuver them without that back piece on there. stick it together. Yes, I used a lot of glue because I would going to sand and file that down. So you can see that right there. That's kind of how it looks in the back. Just want to make sure it lines up. So here's that rotary piece. Going to go all the way around this with our glue. Slap it together, and then we are going to put those other pieces. There's 2 for each one of these that go on the sides. So you just slide them on. They have registrations on them so you know how to line them up. So here we go. Got the holes and the pins for this. Let that dry a little bit, not too long. So I'm putting some glue here on the front. You see that little registration? Put a little bit on the back. I didn't use too much glue, no need to. This is kind of a hidden part. You see there's a small little insert there. Each one of these fits onto that insert on the little slot. Just like that. Now what I did, I put some of the missile halves that were already completed on those just to see, make sure everything was lined up in place. And there you go. So thank you for watching. This is what's coming up on the next video. I kept this one short. We're going to assemble wings, what you see here, intakes, and all sorts of good stuff. So thanks for watching. Subscribe. That way you can see our next video when it comes out in 2 weeks. Don't forget to comment, because we love comments, and give me plenty of likes. By the way, this model went together really well. Until next time, see ya.